In this week's Panther Sports, we learn about how a new club sport put all the right pieces together, we see how men's soccer plays the numbers game, and Bucky Smith shows us the ropes. All this and more, right now. Hi, I'm Lene Frazier, and welcome to Panther Sports. We'll start things right off with the weekly roundup.
I'm Joe Hutzler, and this is the weekly roundup. Last Thursday, the women's soccer team went on the road to Rock Hill, South Carolina, where they tied Winthrop 3-3. The Panthers were down 2-0 early after the Eagles scored at the 3rd and 5th minutes, but Becca Hemby did all that she could to help her fellow Panthers with her 6th goal of the season later in the first half, and tallied an assist just 2 minutes later when she passed to senior Janae Whitaker to tie it up. Down by 1 again, Hemby took over to tie the game at 3 during the 62nd minute. Neither team could get the ball in the net after that, giving the Panthers their 6th tie of the year. Just 2 nights later, the women's soccer team had to gear up for another conference opponent, this time at Vert Stadium, in the form of the Runnin' Bulldogs of Gardner-Webb. On a rainy night that saw fireworks in the sky after the game, there were no shortage of fireworks on the field of play in this double overtime thriller that saw Taylor Parker win it for the Panthers in the 104th minute. The win kept HPU undefeated in conference play at 2-0-2, and it gives them an overall record of 3-4-6. Parker had a career-high 7 shots to go along with her 3rd goal in as many games, while senior Janae Whitaker scored the other Panther goal to extend her goal streak to 2 games. Slowing things down a bit, there was good news for the men's and women's cross-country teams last Friday as they competed at the Charlotte Invitational in Charlotte, North Carolina. On the men's side of things, freshman Benji Zalahi placed 7th in his much-anticipated debut, helping his fellow Panthers to finish 5th in the 35-team field. HPU finished with 154 points behind Appalachian State, Davidson, Wake Forest, and Virginia Tech, who won the event with 31 points. The women's team went on to place 13th at the same event in the 6K behind a strong performance from senior Kelsey Hunt. Coach Jenna Reedon stated that, quote, "It's no surprise that our number 1 runner is the one who has been working hard and putting in high mileage for 4 years," end quote. Hunt placed 25th overall, and HPU was the top Big South school in the 30-team field. As members of the cross-country team were rising up, the volleyball team would fall in 5 sets to Coastal Carolina after taking a 2-0 set lead. The Panthers would win the first set 25-19 and the second set convincingly 25-13. The Chanticleers would fight back, however, never giving up and gaining momentum after a close 3rd set that resulted in the first of 3 straight set wins for Coastal Carolina at 25-23, 25-17, and 15-12 in the final set, winning the match and handing High Point their first Big South loss of the year. Coach Oliver was very disappointed after the loss, saying that, quote, "We had better stats in every category and still managed to lose. We just got in our own way," end quote. Coach Oliver and his team would not have time to dwell on the loss, and maybe that was a good thing, as the Panthers dominated Charleston Southern in front of nearly 2,000 fans the very next night. The Panthers beat the Buccaneers 3-0 by scores of 25-16, 25-18, and edging out a 25-22 final set to avoid a possible repeat the night before. Courtney Jonk led the team with 12 kills to make it a 24-kill weekend after getting 12 against Coastal. Reigning Big South Player of the Week Chelsea Davis had 17 digs, and Maddie Simpson came away with a solid all-around effort, scoring 35 assists, 8 digs, 3 kills, and 2 blocks. Head on over to HighPointPanthers.com for more details on these games and more on your favorite Panther sports. This has been the Weekly Roundup.
The High Point University men's soccer team was ranked 23rd in the nation this week by the NSCAA. This is the first time HPU has been ranked in the NSCAA Division I national poll, which was released on October 1st. Of the honor, head coach Dustin Fonder said, "These are exciting times for our program here at High Point University. For our program to be considered nationally relevant is a fantastic thing. A lot of hard work has gone into achieving this ranking. That being said, it is hard to gain respect, but easy to lose it, so now we need to fight to protect it." HPU is also ranked 24th in the nation by College Soccer News and 25th by Soccer America. Pat Stein has more on athletic polling later in the program. 3 High Point University athletes were given Big South honors this week. Senior High Point men's soccer player Fujiro Okiyama was named Big South Defensive Player of the Week. This is Okiyama's first time earning this honor. Okiyama led the HPU defense in its win against William & Mary last week. The game was the team's third straight shutout and second straight game in which they did not allow a shot on goal. The team dominance faltered, however, in their recent tie with VMI on October 3rd. High Point senior golfer Chase Wilson was named Big South Men's Golfer of the Week. Wilson won an individual medal at the recent Joe Aggie Invitational with a 7-under 206. He tied the HPU record for 18, 36, and 54 holes and led the team to a first-place victory in the 11-team tournament with a score of 861. HPU junior Becca Hemby was named the Big South Attacking Player of the Week, finishing the week with 2 goals and 2 assists in games against Winthrop and Gardner-Webb. She currently leads HPU and is second in the conference in goals scored. This is her first time earning honors from the Big South. UNC Asheville's volleyball team was unable to practice as scheduled on Tuesday afternoon due to a visit from a special guest. Vice President of the United States, Joe Biden, stopped by UNCA on Tuesday afternoon to make a speech in the Justice Center where the team normally practices. To show his appreciation, the Vice President met and spoke with the team after his speech. After the break, we'll talk with men's lacrosse player Bucky Smith, and he'll show us how to play the game.
Packer, Viking, Viking,
Red state, blue state, vegan,
carnivore.
We come from different places.
Uptown,
downtown,
optimist, cynic.
We come to different conclusions.
Half empty,
half full.
But when we live united, we create real, lasting change in the building blocks of life. The education, income, and health of our communities, our families, united. Even the person next to us.
Live united.
Real change won't happen without you. So give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Sign up at liveunited.org.
Welcome back to Panther Sports. I'm here with men's lacrosse player Bucky Smith. Hi, Bucky. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Thank you. We're happy to have you here. And so I guess the first question would be, why lacrosse? What attracts you to lacrosse?
Well, actually, I grew up playing baseball, and in about 3rd or 4th grade, I'd say a bunch of my buddies just started playing lacrosse. It kind of got big in our area, and so all my friends kind of quit baseball, and I tried to juggle both for a little bit, and then eventually my dad kind of made me make a decision, and it was too much to go from a baseball game to a lacrosse game and all that juggling back and forth. So I just picked lacrosse. All my buddies were playing it, and I haven't really looked back since.
Oh, okay, great. So was that a easy transition going from baseball to lacrosse?
Well, I played soccer also and basketball, and they're both very similar to lacrosse in terms of the structure of basketball and lacrosse are extremely similar in terms of the how defense is played, kind of how the offenses are set up, and sort of the athletics from soccer also translate over pretty well. So it wasn't too big of a transition. I've always kind of been a sports kid, so it worked out well.
Okay, great. And I know you spent 2 years at the U.S. Naval Academy.
Yes.
And last year was your first year at High Point University. So how's it like kind of going from school to school, not only transitioning in classes and meeting new people, but also going from one team to the next?
It was definitely a big transition. The Navy program's been around for 100+ years. It's a very old, established program. It's a very long tradition, a lot of history to it. And it was really interesting going from that to a brand new startup program like High Point. And last year there was only 19 of us on campus. We didn't really have a season. We just practiced all year, had a couple exhibition games and scrimmages against some club teams, and we actually had a chance to play some of the professional teams, which was exciting. But it was definitely a different environment, definitely a different atmosphere. It was an interesting transition for a while, but after a few months, got the hang of it, and it's been great since.
Oh, okay. And so I know last year you got all the new experiences, but I heard that there's a little misfortune that happened. You tore your ACL?
I did. I tore my ACL on February 2nd last year. It was actually kind of funny how it worked out. It was the last run of the last drill of practice. I actually cut the line so I could do it, and I ended up just sort of taking a weird plant and sort of sort of cut and planted and landed all at the same time and twisted, and it just kind of popped. And I mean, you could hear it. It sounded like a firework went off in my knee, and I knew right away something bad had happened. But for actually about 2 weeks afterwards, I was under the impression I had just strained my LCL. It was sort of misdiagnosed for a little bit. And so I was really relieved, actually, that it wasn't anything too serious. And then when I finally saw the orthopedic surgeon, he sort of, as soon as he touched it, was like, oh yeah, you tore your ACL.
So exactly what are some of the basics of, I guess, playing lacrosse and holding a stick?
Well, I mean, you've pretty much got it right there. As a defenseman, though, you kind of hold it towards the bottom so you can use all 6 feet of your stick to sort of get a cushion between you and your offensive matchup. But as an offensive player, your happy place is kind of right down by your waist when you're cradling and sort of holding the ball. And then
so this is for a defender, and you play midfield, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so the short stick, how does the short stick help you in being a midfielder?
Well, the shorter your stick, it's kind of easier to hide it from the defenseman. You've got all this stick, so my job's kind of to protect my stick from you trying to throw pokes and dislodge the ball from me. So the shorter the stick, obviously the easier to handle the ball. It's not as, you don't have a lot of the, 5-foot shaft getting in the way. So
right.
It's pretty simple.
Oh, okay. And then so when you're passing, is there a foot position you want to make sure you have?
It's just like any other sport, whether you're throwing a football or a baseball or, anything like that. It's, if you're a right-handed player, you step with your left and throw right over the shoulder and rotate your hips and kind of swing your upper body at the same time. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, great. So I guess we can put it to use, right? So
yeah, sure.
Let's try and pick up one of these balls and hope that this goes on.
I don't know if you want to throw it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, there you
so
go.
I know you kind of like juggle the ball back and forth.
It's called cradling.
Cradling, okay.
It's really, you actually don't really have to do a whole lot of cradling. The more you play, the more comfortable you are with the ball in your stick, and it just kind of sits in there, and it really just kind of goes with the motion of your body. I mean, as you run, you kind of just move it with yourself, and it just kind of sits in there, and you want to keep a loose grip on the stick, so it's, a lot of people have a death grip and the ball tends to rattle around, but the looser the grip, the easier the ball sits in there, and you can move it around and do whatever you want with it, and it's not really going anywhere unless it gets poked out.
Okay, awesome. So how'd I do?
So far, so
right,
good.
So
yeah,
far,
great
so
so far.
Awesome. Okay, well, thank you again, Bucky, for being with us today.
Oh, sure.
And
thank you very much.
Very nice to meet you. And, so after the break, we'll look at the men's soccer team and how they managed to rank so high in the poll. Stay tuned.
At High Point University, every student receives an extraordinary education in an inspiring environment with caring people.
Earlier in the show, we mentioned the HPU men's soccer ranked at number 23 nationally. Here's Pat Stein with more on the story.
Two-touch. Everybody's on two-touch yellow. You don't have to go to yellow before you connect. Just go back if you want.
The High Point University men's soccer program is unbeaten over halfway into their season, with a 9-0-1 record and a ranking in the national poll. Or should I say, the national polls.
The 4 different polls used in college soccer in order of significance are the NSCAA poll, the College Soccer News poll, the Soccer America poll, and the Soccer Times poll.
The NSCAA, or the National Soccer Coaches Association of America, had the Panthers ranked 23rd in the nation in their most recent poll released on Tuesday. Before Tuesday, HPU had been recognized as a top team by College Soccer News for the last 3 weeks, earning as high as the 24th spot.
The perks are the guys get to go check the paper every week and see where they are and have that excitement, that enthusiasm. It's exciting times, and it's deserving for the guys who put in a lot of hard work, so to get some national recognition is good for the guys.
The different polls may be ranking the same teams, but they're all run a little bit differently.
The NSCAA and the Soccer Times poll are both coaches polls, while the College Soccer News and Soccer America polls are both media polls. For the coaches polls, the NSCAA one in particular, there is a voting panel of about 24 coaches who submit a ballot every week with their top 25, and those are compiled to put together the poll.
The coaches and writers rank the teams based on record, statistical rankings, and strength of schedule. something Coach Fonder says the team has taken advantage of this season.
I think we've had a challenging schedule to date so far. I mean, I think we had a key road win at Elon, and they have a very good RPI and are nationally respected. We've also got a road win at Navy, but key games left for us: Campbell, Radford, Coastal, all key conference games. And then non-conference, we go to UVA. I think a win at UVA against an ACC opponent would really boost us in the rankings.
For Panther Sports, I'm Pat Stein.
Now can we find Sewell over there? Get over there, find over there. Get opened up. Find Sewell there.
After the break, we'll see how the new club rowing team is going with the flow in its second season.
I think someone at my friend's school has this thing called autism. My friend's brother's son has autism. My neighbor's son has autism. My son has autism.
Autism is getting closer to home. Today, 1 in 88 children is diagnosed with autism. That's a 1,000% increase in the last 40 years. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
Cal Connolly takes us out on the water with High Point's club rowing team. Here's the story.
The most recent addition to club sports at High Point University is the club rowing team. The team was created by two of HPU's own students, Caitlin Schultz and Sophia Andretos. Both Schultz and Andretos were rowers in high school, and when they found out there wasn't a team here, they wanted to do something about it. As Caitlin Schultz explained, it wasn't hard to get the ball rolling.
Honestly, I ran into the lake. My dad and I were driving around, and we got lost, and we just drove right into the lake right here. And so it was just, I was always told that there wasn't a water to row in, so I didn't bother looking. And then when I saw it, I was like, I have to get back on the water.
Once Caitlin and her co-founder Sophia had the idea of starting the rowing team, they went to the man that could make it happen, Nita Cobain. Nita was behind the girls' idea 100%. He even bought the team 2 8-man crew boats that they could use for competition and practice. The school has been very supportive from the start, and Sophia Andretos couldn't be happier.
It would be very exciting. The school's just been so supportive thus far, and for us to kind of get together and have that happen, I think it would be very exciting for both parties.
With all of that in place, they needed one crucial component to make it all work: a coach. The school contacted Corey Conzimas about coaching the club rowing team, and he jumped for the opportunity.
I've been coaching for the last 6 years now at the various high schools and colleges across the East Coast. When I was contacted in August, I came on down for an interview and quickly decided that this seemed like a good place to coach and start a program. I was intrigued by starting a brand new program. I'd done it before with the high school and move up to the collegiate level.
The club rowing team has a bright future and maybe someday could even be an NCAA-sanctioned sport for High Point. I asked the girls and the coach how they would feel if the opportunity came about.
That is the end goal. It'll take quite a few years before we can get there because we have to build up our scores, but it's definitely the end goal.
To see what it could become in the future, you know, I see the dedication of the athletes right now, 41 kids, and it could be anything that they determine it to be.
The High Point University club rowing team is a program to watch in the future here at HBU. This is Kyle Connolly reporting for Panther Sports.
I'm Lene Frazier, and this has been another weekly edition of Panther Sports. Thanks for watching, and good night.